It is something that all of us need every single day, but very few of us actually get a good night's sleep.
New research reveals millions of Australians of all ages are enduring sleepless nights every single week. And we asked you for your best tips to nodding off.
I help myself go to sleep by not having an afternoon nap.
My tip for a good night's sleep is spraying lavender oil on my pillow.
It's not having caffeine after 1 p.m.
Play some music softly if you have troubles.
I'm a shift worker, so I help myself going to sleep by making sure that my bed's nice and snugly warm with comfy pillows and blankets.
My trick for a good night's sleep is I snuggle up to my dog because she's calming.
Just relax before you go to bed would be my biggest advice.
Red wine.
I count backwards from 2000.
Wow, some useful tips there.
Yeah.
But we thought we would get the expert in to help us with some advice on this. It is World Sleep Day, and we're joined by a real leader in the field, Dr. Karp, who joins us from Los Angeles. Harvey, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Deb and Georgie.
So many people try different things, different tactics to get to sleep. We're all struggling with it. Why are so many of us having trouble getting to sleep, do you think?
Well, I think there are too many things to do. I think our world is filled with so many distractions and demands as well. I mean, we live busier lives than ever before, so just getting your work done sometimes takes you till late in the night. But I think that, you know, we've got social media, we've got television, we've got how many channels now? Hundreds of channels. So the interesting thing about the brain is that we're not built for a 24-hour day. We're actually built for a 25 or 26-hour day. And what that means is that you're not necessarily tired at the end of 24 hours. A lot of people feel like they could go longer, but of course then you have to wake up in the morning and then you end up not getting enough sleep.
Well, being tired is one thing, but what are the signs that you're actually sleep deprived?
You would think it's being tired, but actually when you get used to being sleep deprived, you don't feel so tired. You just kind of are dealing with it. So one of the best signs that you really are sleep deprived is when your head hits the pillow like that and you go out in just a few seconds. You can't even remember falling asleep. Your head hits the pillow and you're gone. Usually you should be thinking a little bit or just getting ready or breathing, and it may take a minute or two or three to fall asleep. And so that's one good sign of it.
What actually happens to your body when you don't get enough sleep? What are the negatives?
This is one of the most interesting things because you would think we know everything about sleep. It's a third of our lives. But there's really, the last 20 years, it's been an explosion in the research about sleep and the lack of sleep. So there are several things that can occur when you're not getting enough sleep, effects on the body. One is that you get more infections. It suppresses your immune system. So from pimples to pneumonia, you have a higher risk of getting sick, getting the flu when you're traveling and you're jet lagged. That happens much more, sinus infections. Another thing is inflammation. So it turns out that your body's inflammatory reaction gets hyper-wired when you're sleep deprived. And that turns out to be a key trigger for heart disease, for example, the inflammation that occurs in your coronary arteries and leads you to greater risk of heart attack or stroke. And then another thing we've learned is about nutrition. Because when you're sleep deprived, it changes your hormonal balance in your body so that your body doesn't use the nutrients properly. So you're more likely to gain weight, even if you're eating the same number of calories. Obviously, you're not going to exercise as much. You're eating impulsively when you're tired. You tend to be an impulse eater of sweets and fats. But even if you're eating well, your hormonal balance is off, and it's going to lead you towards obesity.
It can affect, obviously, your physical health, but your mental health is impacted too, yeah?
Yeah, you know, it has dramatic effects on the brain, not getting enough sleep. One thing is it makes you the equivalent of drunk. Studies have shown that if you're getting just one night of less than 6 hours sleep, doubles your risk of serious car accident. And if you're getting several nights or even a week of less than 6 hours sleep, it literally makes you the equivalent of drunk. Your reaction time is down, your errors and your accidents increase. But then, of course, you get irritable, you get anxious, and even depression. Depression is very often provoked by chronic sleep deprivation.
All right, so just quickly, we've established many of us are sleep deprived. Give us some tips, give us some advice if you could.
Well, one of the big things is a routine, right? So you want to get out, you want to get exercise, you want to get fresh air during the day. That's a big help. Another thing is the environment that you're sleeping in. If it's too cold or too hot, actually, that can interfere with sleep. Eating too close to going to bed can affect some people. Of course, caffeine, as we heard in the beginning, for many people after 12 noon or 1 o'clock, you need really 6 or 8 hours for it to get out of your system. And actually, alcohol, believe it or not, people think of that as being a good way to fall asleep. But actually, it may help you fall asleep, but it doesn't improve sleep. You end up waking up in the middle of the night and having a harder time falling asleep. And then for the shift workers, of course, blackout lights and white noise. Turns out we can really help babies. This is an interesting thing. Today, we have so many more tools for helping new parents with their babies, doing 3 things: swaddling, white noise, and rhythmic motion. Those are the things that every grandmother knows will help a little baby fall asleep. And now we have a special bed called SNOO, which is available in Australia, which actually imitates the womb experience to help babies have the rocking, swaddling, and shushing all night long to add at least an hour or more to their sleep.
Yeah, fantastic tips. Really great to get your advice on this because it impacts so many people. Harvey, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love that saying, sleep like a baby. They don't actually sleep
No,
that
exactly.
well.
Maybe we need to be swaddled.
Maybe. That could be the